Okay, now coming on to task 2, it was a similar task with a more extended topology, including a router too. Okay, so firstly we'll start with our packet tracer, and here's our Word document. So let's just open bigger screen. So what I did in this task was, firstly I made the whole topology, then I made two networks, network 1 and network 2, both with both having a DNS plus DHCP server. Here's DNS plus DHCP server for network 1, and here's the similar server for network 2. So basically what as I've already told, the DHCP servers in both the networks would assign the IP addresses to the end devices such as the laptops and the computers that can be seen, which would save us time कि हमें manually configuration नहीं करनी पड़ेगी. Statically we won't have to assign IP addresses to both the networks. And as far as the DNS system is concerned, we have set up the DNS system for resolving the domain names into IP addresses. That is that we can, for example, instead of remembering the IP addresses of the web server, we can just simply type the website's name into our PCs. That we'll be looking into this tutorial also, how we will be doing that to access our web servers. Okay, so just like in task 1, we set up our configuration, our default pathway, the default gateway, the DNS server of the network 2, and its IP configuration. Okay, so we would statically assign the IP configuration of the web servers. Here as I have assigned it 192.168.23, and the services I have turned on is HTTP and HTTPS, and similarly I have added the index.html document so that I can identify which end device is accessing which server for my ease. Secondly, I have done the same for web server 2 at the network 2 services, HTTP, HTTPS turned on, index.html customized as per our requirements, and then what we have done is provided its IP address, default pathway and all. Now looking the configuration of the DNS and the DHCP server, we have set up the pool with its IP addresses starting from, in network 2 the IP addresses would start from .2 like 192.168.210 and so on till how many end devices are there. And I have also stored the web addresses of all 4 servers, that is web 1, web 2 of web 1, web 2 of both the networks, so that in case I want to access the web server or a website of network 1 from my network 2, I can easily do that, as I have also shown in my Word document too, that I have accessed accessed website 1 in network 1 through my laptop 1 in network 2. So we'll come on to this simulation a little later in the video. Firstly, let me show you guys this, and now I'll be showing you how does the PCs and the end devices would get their configuration through the DHCP server. Here we'll be going to desktop, IP configuration, and just like this it assigns the IP configuration through the DHCP server as the path, as we have also provided it with a pathway. And similarly, if you'll try for this, the same will be done. Sorry. here. The DHCP request was successful and it has been assigned an IP address of .1.12 as it was in network 1. Now let's try the simulation. Firstly, let's try accessing our website 1 in network 1 through our laptop in network 1, right? In network 2. As you can see, this is laptop 1 is in network 2 setup, and we'll be accessing website 1 of network 1 through it. I guess it's taking some time. No, it's okay. Here we go. So we are accessing network 1, right? Here we have accessed our website 1 in network 1 through our laptop in network 2. As we have stored the web server's IPs along with its URLs in both the DNS plus DHCP servers, so the DNS resolves the IP addresses of both the networks, that is helping us to easily access across the network. And we'll see this in simulation mode too in a while. Let's just open simulation mode here. Here it is. We'll be going again to our web server. Here, www.web1network1.com, and here is the DNS request sent. Here we go. You can see the packets moving. It may take a little longer since we have a large topology, but let's see. Basically, this task is helping us understand that even though the devices are in different networks, but with the help of DNS and DHCP server and routing, they can still communicate easily using domain names instead of just IP addresses. Here our simulation is successful. As you can see, the HTTP request has been resolved. Now let's just switch on to our task number 3, with said. Okay, just see where we're now. Come on to task number 3. That's it. What are the 4 groupings of HTTP headers? Well, I have added an explanatory answer in the last part here, but let's just giving you guys an idea. Basically, HTTP headers are like labels attached to the letter or the message that we receive that tells us the information about the message. They can be divided into 4 parts. That is the general headers, request headers, response headers, entity headers, and the general headers are those headers basically that apply to the message itself, that is whether it's sent by the client or the server, but it's not related to the content. Basically, it's the examples may include information related to date, connection. Request headers, these headers are the headers that the client sends to tell the server about what it requires. Basically, example have been given as user agent, accept authorization. And as far as response headers are concerned, these are the labels that are sent back, basically the server sends back to the client to about the response, not the content basically, but it's related to the response. uh, and as far as entity headers are concerned, these are the labels that describes or tells us about the content of the message, the content type, the content length, content encoding, and last modified, and information related to the content basically. So this was all for the lab task covered in lab 4. Thank you.